Hey everybody, this is Brian here. I just wanted to make a video talking about a variety of different epilepsy topics. Happy 4th of July, everybody, and let's get straight to it. Okay, uh, number one that I wanted to talk about is talking about the epilepsy monitoring watches. They're a little bit like those Fitbit things that you get if you're trying to exercise and walk more and keep track of it, except for keeping track of your seizures and epileptic events, obviously. But this is a little bit of a before you buy, things you should know uh, kind of list. Number one is that ta- the sorry. Before you get one, know that you have to stay really close to your phone pretty much constantly. My phone's right here. You have to stay within 10 feet of it pretty much at all times. 10 to 30 feet is the range of my watch here. And, you have to stay really close to these things constantly, which is not an issue for most people because they're attached to their phones and glued to them anyways. But um, just be aware that you really have to stay close. You can't even leave it in the other room if you're at home. It'll often send out a false alert or something if you leave your phone in the other room or if your phone dies at some point. Another thing is to know that these things aren't really waterproof. They might be able to handle a drop, or if you accidentally get it wet, washing your hands. I'm not guaranteeing that, so don't blame me if you break your watch. But they aren't really waterproof, so don't get them wet. It obviously goes without saying to not get electronics wet, but don't get your seizure monitoring watch wet because it may not be able to handle it and it may break the whole device. Which, as I'll get to later on in the video, these things can be pretty expensive. So just be careful when washing your hands or taking a shower. Know that even though it can be helpful and be of benefit to your independence as a person with epilepsy in the long run, that it's a pretty heavy commitment to have it on all the time. Um, okay. Also, some of them, like I said, are pretty expensive and they may take a doctor or even a prescription to approve the order. So they can be quite a process for you to actually get a hold of. Be warned that it's very easy for them to pick up random things like phone unsyncing. Like I said, if you get too far from your cell phone, um, or if you snore when you're asleep, because obviously you're going to be monitoring your seizures when you're asleep, because that's when a lot of people have their most their highest percentage of epileptic events. It's true for me. Um, anyways, I got mine, like I said, and I'm still getting used to these daily changes in my life. So just be aware of all of these things before you buy one of these monitoring watches. Number two on here is targeted towards a more specific group of people. If you're looking to have a surgery performed on you or get a tattoo uh, at any point in the future as a person with severe epilepsy, um, double check your decision and think about the dangers therein and just think about it very carefully. I'm not saying that anybody with epilepsy they can never get a procedure performed on them or get a tattoo. However, like I said, you might want to be extra careful due to the added dangers. Think about it. If you're being worked over with sharp tools that could have a and you could have a serious seizure at any moment. That might not end well to have someone gouging into you with sharp tools. Like they might tear you open or something. It just might not end well. I'm not forecasting the worst possible event as guaranteed, but those things are possibilities if you're getting like a wisdom tooth removed, for example, or if you're getting a tattoo on your upper arm. Those might seem like fairly benign procedures, um, but if you start spazzing out and you start shaking when somebody's got like a sharp tool in your mouth, that might not end well, like I said. Anyways, I've been told, for example, that I would have to undergo a medical coma to have one of those vagus nerve stimulator things put into my head. I would have to undergo a medical coma to get a tattoo if I wanted one. So these are the kind of things, like you could have a seizure at any moment. Just be careful, obviously, for your own sake. Next up on this list of variety of topics is emergency medications. If you take something like Ativan, for example, is a common one that you may take towards the end of your seizure cycle or when you're feeling very symptomatic. Some will leave you inured to them over time and needing a larger dose. Um, so rather than just upping your prescription and frying your liver and kidneys by raising the dose repeatedly, you might want to look at different medications. Just change them over time so you don't just become immune to the beneficial effects of those things. The last thing that I wanted to say on the topic of these watches is be aware of the scam of free trial deals, because after 30 days, you often have to pay. Again, I think that's bullshit because these things cost a lot in the first place anyways. So why should they be able to charge us again after buying the product for like $300 anyways? So just be aware that you're not buying this permanently, that you'll have to pay again, like paying, like when you buy a cell phone, for example, and you have to pay a monthly bill. That's kind of how this works. You often have to pay after the free trial is up. So happy 4th of July for everybody. I'm sorry if this was a sad video on a happy day, but I just wanted to, you know, make an important topic since it's an important day in history, and I'm a history major, obviously. Uh, so happy 4th of July, everybody, and I hope this advice was helpful to somebody. I love you all because you're you, and I hope that you love yourself because of your own natural qualities. Thank you for watching. I'm out.